We'll continue here with Oishei. V'zehu pirush ad shetichla regel min hashuk. And this is the meaning, what it says in the Gemara says that the mitzvah of lighting of the Neiris Chanukah is until the regel finishes from the shuk. Now, what is the meaning over here? We were saying that you have to turn around, talk about the shuk, to turn around the rebellion of the shuk, of the Rishus Harabim, Iskaf Yisitra Achra, and that's the way you fulfill the kavanah. So we have two interpretations of the meaning of the shuk. Shuk can also be interpreted as the positive, the level of shuk, and shuk also as the marketplace, which is the negative. So let's look inside. This is the meaning until the regel leaves the market, the shuk. Pirush Aleph. The one interpretation is shehu inyan b'kedusha. This is an inyan of kedusha. We find the word shuk or shoik. Shoik also means the thigh. The pasuk says shoik, which is shoikov amudei sheish. It says that his thighs are pillars of marble, pillars of sheish. In Mishlei, in Shirashirim, it says that they're like that, which means, and it's interpreted that in the Medrash, that Zeho Oilam, what does it mean that his thighs are like pillars? That means the world, Zeho Oilam Shenishtoikik. The word shoik comes from the word he yearned. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Livroisa. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yearned, as he'll explain. Nisava HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem wanted, yearned to create a world so that he has a dira b'tachtonim, so that he has a dwelling place in this world. And so the shoik, regel min hashoik means this world, the desirable world of Hashem created this world, which, and then what does it mean? The regel min hashuk, and regel min hashuk would mean hu inyan gimel regolim. We talk about the three festivals. They're called the three regels. People walk by foot to the Beis Hamikdash, as we'll see soon. So the idea of Yom Tov, the idea of regolim, those are very high madregas. But in a general way, as we're teaching now, shuk is the world which nishtoikek livraisei, and that is the regel min hashuk references the holidays, the Yom Tovim, which basically is a very high madrega darge hachi nailis bekedusha. This is a very high level in kedusha, k'maimer azal, because when we talk about Yom Tov, it says, the pasuk says that you should come to visit Hashem. So lirois, so the so the saying of our sages of blessed memory, they say kishem shabo lirois, just like the person comes to see the godliness, what's taking place during the festivals, the revelations, kach bo le rois. Likewise, he's also coming to be seen by Hashem. And the same thing the other way, kishem shabo le rois, the same, just like he's coming to be seen by Hashem, kach bo le rois, he comes to see. Basically, you see that there's a tremendous elevation. It's a very high level on Yom Tov. So we're saying this is the regel, the Yom Tov of the shoik of the world in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nishtekik yearned to create it. So that's one pirush, that's Kedusha, pirush habezu. And the second interpretation, what does this mean? Ad shetichla regel min hashuk. Shuk is like the marketplace. Abezu shuk urshus harabim. It's a marketplace. It's a public domain, which represents a low, very low level. It's a reshus harabim. It's a public domain, which is called Turei de Peroida. Those are mountains of separation that represents the klippas, represents those that are separated from Hashem. And then we also say that it's such a low level of the Reshus Harabim in such an extent that there are tarmidoi, to the extent that in this market, yeshnom tarmidoi, there are the tarmidoi, hamoirtim, the Malchus Shemayim, those who rebel against the heavenly governance, against Hashem. They don't accept Hashem. They're moired, tarmidoi. Tarmid oisios meiredes, the word tarmid, which has lameredes. So on this interpretation of shuk, it's very negative. Not only then we say v'regel min hashuk, achetichla regel, which foot is there? That's the rigla de tarmidoi. We're talking about the foot of the tarmidoi. That means that it keeps on going there, that the rebellion against Hashem is regel, is mahalach, it keeps on going. Hanu shebahashuk, so regel min hashuk hu rigla de tarmidoi, hanu shebahashuk nimtsoim merdim, that in the marketplace you find those who rebel, and not only are they there, they are going there. In other words, they're making progress there. Because when we say the foot, that points to walking there, and that means that it's a place not only of Tura de Pruda, separation of Hashem, but there is flourishing halicha of the rebellion Shemayim. Umin v'alidei hashuk, from and through the shuk they go there. That's the rigla of the tarmidoi. Seems like opposite contrasts, but the Rebbe explains now they're actually related to one another. They're related because the reason why Hashem Shoikel wants this world is because Hashem wants to turn this world around, that from the shuk, the Reshus Harabim, and the Meiredes, it should turn around to be a shuk in which Hashem wants in Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu to be tachtoinim in the opposite. So these two interpretations in the meaning of regel tichla regel min hashuk have a connection to each other. For this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu yearned to create the world, which is the Pirush Aleph B'Shuk, the first interpretation in Shuk, so that there should be for him blessed a dwelling place in the world below. He wants it in the tachtoinim, in the lower, in this low world, in a place that there is nothing low. It's the lowest. There's nothing even lower than this. Mimenu be'inyan hester yizbarich, in the idea of how much of the blessed light is obscured. There's nothing less that, there's nothing further lower than this world in which it's totally obscured the light of Hashem. And that's why the creation, as we see in the pasuk, it says, Hashem says nasa in a plural, ba'ofen the nasa. So it's as if to say that the world was created by a plural. Let us make Loshan Rabim, nasa Loshan Rabim, which basically creates a Reshus Harabim, a public domain, Pirush HaBeis B'Shuk. And why did Hashem do that? As Rashi brings down also, that Moshe Rabbeinu said, how could we say Nasa in the plural when the Eibishter is the one that is creating the only one? The Eibishter said to him, whoever wants to make a mistake should be able to make a mistake. So basically, the Eibishter was sort of consulting the Malachi, the heavens. He said, Nasa, somebody could make a mistake, think there's another Rishus, there's another Eibishter, God Chas V'Sholom. So the Eibishter says, let him make a mistake, right? This is, so you see, the Eibishter creates the Chatchila and gives room for a mistake in order to turn things around. In order, there should be that you should choose life, that there should be inyan habechira, there should be the concept of bechira, to make a choice. You have to give a person opportunity to make a mistake. Inyan habechira, tzorich liyesh nisina mokum, nisinas mokum l'tois, must be giving room, it must allow for a mistake and for the person to choose the right thing. So, Davke, the Eibishter allows for mistakes, because that way, when you choose, that way you can turn around and from the Rishus Harabim to make it a Rishus of Hashem. But Davke al Yidei Zeh, and specifically through this, that the creation of the world became in a way of Nasa in a plural, which is in Rishus Harabim, which is an idea of the Eibishter created this Rishus Harabim, this public domain in which there is possibilities to make mistakes. And yet the person, through his service, he turns the world around. That it should be a private domain for the only one of the world. That's how, so to speak, it's completed Hashem's yearning. Hashem's yearning, in the creation of the world, that this should be for him blessed a dwelling place and low, is accomplished through the person and his service, that the world should become a private domain for Hashem, a domain where Hashem lives, the dir v'tachtonim, for the Eibishter. And this is, so the Shoykov, the Shuk, the Rosh Hashanah and the Talmud Doi, the Eibishter creates it so that this will accomplish his desire of his Shoykov, the Shukah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to create the world. Vav. V'hinei, behold, Hatainuk, that the delight, which is the Shukah, the yearning, Shalamailo, the delight that we get above, from the fact that a person turns around this marketplace, the Rishus Harabim, which is Ture de Pruda, this public domain, the mountains of separation, Rishus HaYochid, that makes them into a private domain, which is that turns darkness to light. That is a tremendous, elevated delight, a very special, great delight. As it's known in the idea, when we talk about the joy and laughter, when do we have real joy and laughter? When there's something unique that is unusual. That's the delight that comes from something, a novelty, something unusual. Likewise, also, so to speak, When is there's the light and this laughter, the joy of above, that comes from the novelty, from that unique change that we take darkness and we turn it around to light. That is a greater delight, more than other delights in the world, when you change things around from the way they are dark and you make it into light. That's the that's way change around. And the Rebbe said this also explains, like we find sometimes, that when you teach and you help a child who is a son of a simple person or an ignorant person, and you teach him and you elevate him, there's a special power that Hashem blesses you with. It says, the sages tell us, this is what the rabbis say. Kol hamelamed is ben am haaretz Torah. Anyone who teaches the son of an ignorant person, who teaches him Torah, it's a special value to teaching a ben am haaretz. The fact that he was not going to get the Torah on his own, his father could not teach him, and you go and teach him. So the Gemara says, "Afilu Hakadosh Baruch Hu goizer gezeira." He gets such a power and blessing from Hashem that even if Hakadosh Baruch Hu makes a decree, mevatlo bishviloi, Hashem will nullify it because of the person that taught Torah, got such a zchus. Shenamar brings down from the posik, the im toitzi yokar mizoilel posik in Yirmiyah, that if you take out a precious one from a zoilel, one who wants to swallow him up, you save a child, mizoilel kifi tiya, then it'll be like my mouth, which means that Hashem will listen to you, what you say. What does it mean that Hashem makes a decree and you have the power to change it? Essentially, Hashem wants you to change it. We're going to bring several examples in which, while it seems Hashem decrees something, but Hashem wants you to override him, so to speak. This that we find that a tzaddik can negate, take away the decree of Hashem. Like we say, Hashem decrees and a tzaddik is mevatel, and here we say that is mevatel. Even though the tzaddik knows that Hashem decreed so. So how would he go ahead and be mevatel and negate what Hashem wants? Because that it's in itself is the will, the wishes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shahat tzaddik yivatel geseder, that the tzaddik should be mevatel geseder. Hashem wants, it's not going against Hashem. Hashem makes the geseder, but Hashem wants that the tzaddik should come and negate and do away with the geseder. Hashem has from this a tremendous delight and a tremendous nachas ruach and a tremendous delight, a great delight. And this is similar. The Gemara discussed it. There was a whole debate between the rabbis, and they wanted the Maskil to prove, and nothing. They said Torah is not Bashamayim. Can't prove. You need the halacha needs to be here, as the Gemara discusses over there. So the Gemara says in Bava Metzia over there, we're discussing the Testament base. So the Gemara says, what does Hashem do at the time when which they sort of outruled Hashem? They made the halacha. The Baskil comes and rules one way, and they said, no, we're not listening. The Torah is Leba Shemaimi. So the Gemara says, what does Hashem do at that time when they basically beat him, so to speak? So what does Hashem do at that moment? So he says, he smiles and he says, Natschunai, Banai Natschuni. My children, they beat me. That's the Sebs smiles. He's happy that they overrode him. The Mizesh Natschuni Banai, from this that my sons beat me, Nasa Lemailo Tainug Achi Godel. This brings a tremendous level of delight, the greatest delight above. That's what we say, it brings a smile, it brings laughter, joy. That is when we're talking about the halacha, that the halacha is determined by Lamata, and Hashem is very happy that they overruled him, that they don't go by the halacha, by the baskol, by the way it comes from Maila. The same thing is we have in the world, halicha, halacha, but in the ways of the world. When we take the world and we change it around from the way they are, this brings a big smile and a joy above. Just as it's in matters of halacha, which the Eibishter is smiling and saying, my children beat me, is the same thing is that Hashem smiles and he says, my children were victorious over me and they were victorious. Similarly, it's also with regards to the walking of the world, halacha, alichis, the ways of the world, the conduct of the world. Those are the decrees, Hashem, the nature, the way, or the way the Eibishter created. This is Hashem's decrees. Sheyesh laKadosh Baruch Hu nachas ruach v'tainug godel mizeh, that the Eibishter has a tremendous pleasure. It's a pleasantness and a great delight from the fact that when the Yidden changed things around. This would be similar also as the sages of blessed memory say, it says with regards to the sanctification of the moon. So there is the time when the moon is visible, and technically, according to the nature, Halichas Olam, the world should be, the new month should start then. But the sages tell us that if Yidden deliberately don't want to be Mekadesh, the Chodesh, it goes by them, that it means that even in the Yidden have the right to say when the Rosh Chodesh is, when the new month is, Shagam, even if they sanctified the mood, b'meizid intentionally, against the laws of the Torah, then it still remains holy. And also then, the Kodesh Baruch Hu says to his court above, to the heavenly court, he says, me and you will go to the Bezdin below. We'll find out what the halacha is, when Rosh Chodesh is. We'll find out, because the Eibishter is actually very pleased with the fact that we change things around. And this is the Maila that we say, that Kol HaMelamed is Ben Ha'Oretz Torah, that anyone, if you teach the son of Van Ha'Oretz, you teach him Torah Chulu Shenemar, then the Eibishter makes a decree and you can beat it. Shenemar v'im toitzi yokar mizoilel kifiti. If you take out the yokar from the zoilel, the precious, from the one that gluttons, it takes, it swells him up, which means that he would not have an opportunity to do Torah kifiti, like your mouth, it will be like a mouth, which means you'll be able to decree. So why is that so precious to Hashem? That's the novelty, the change around. Because the light and the laughter, the joy of above, that comes from the service of sorting out of the sparks. To take out the precious from the zoilo. And therefore, one who teaches and he spreads Torah to the outside. Gam leben am haaretz, also to the son of the am haaretz. Amru, all of Amra Kadosh Baruch, all of Amru. About him, our sages say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Geizer Gezeira. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes the decrees, the decree that tzaddik mevatlo, the tzaddik negates it, takes it away. Since that from the work, the service of this tzaddik, you create, you bring about that delight and that laughter of above. That's why Hashem makes the decree, the tzaddik mevatlo, and the tzaddik negates it. And Hashem smiles and he says, Natschuni, bonai natschuni. You have beaten me, my children, you have beaten. So this is the idea to take the chashoichel and nahira. That was the shoykov, that was the desire. That's why Hashem creates the world in a shuk, in a turi de pruda, but it's really the shuk, it's the nishtoikik HaKadosh Baruch. Hashem wants it because Hashem wants us to go ahead and change around. This is the chiddush, and this brings a tremendous joy, because joy comes from a novelty. To take iskati sitra achra, to take the other side, to take the dark and turn it around, this brings a tremendous amount of joy. And this could give us an encouragement to stay strong against all of the challenges that we have. Zayin, Inyan Hanal Sivhei. And before, that we said before, that the intention of the Eibishter, Shakavone Behahalomes Behastadium, that the intent with all these blockages and the obscurity of the olam of the world is it's just so that there can be a choosing of life, that we should choose the right thing. Hashem gives the opportunity, says nasa in a plural, so creates the opportunity to make a mistake so that we overcome. This is noisin koyach v'idu. This gives the strength and the encouragement laha adam to a person. Shaloi lihi spoil, not to become affected mizeh from the fact sharoya that he sees sha'olam hu moli klippos v'sitra achra, that the world is full with klippos on the other side. Mitzias shel shuk. There is an existence, there's a marketplace, there's a reshus harabim. Sheyesh boi tar moidoi, that there are there those rebellious. Va'ad shehatar moidoi holchin boi kinal. Not only is the rebellious, but they prosper there, they walk there, they go there. Kinal is mentioned before. That's the riglo de tar moidoi, the foot there. Not to become impacted by that. Don't let it bring you down. For this alone, why is the world in such a condition? That's in order for the person to strengthen himself. As explained in the Sefer, which is called the instruction of Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem, the Rivosh, when a person is davening with intent, because the Alter Rebbe brings this down in Tanya, and a non-Jew, a Nochri, a Goy, is standing in front of him, who is speaking, and he is confusing him and interfering with his davening. So that interruption should impact him, that he should arouse to daven with more kavona and from more depth of his heart. So that interference itself should be the inspiration to have the person daven even stronger. The fact that he is trying to interfere. Shekshi is boinen. So when you reflect, that where does the nochri, the goy, get an energy? That's Hashem's word, and that's the ruach piv, blessed ruach piv, the ear of his mouth that vitalizes, vitalizes, creates him. At that moment that he's when he's speaking words that interfere, that as kavanas hatfil, the intent of davening. So you're reflecting on the idea. How does he speak that the Eibishter's mechayah? On these words itself, the confusing words that the goy is uttering, then the Shem's speech, which everything comes from, is in Bechinas Golus, it's in exile. Through this reflection, he will arouse to daven with more intention from the depth of his hearts. Not just this alone, that he will not become affected from the talk of the goy, and he would daven just like before, as if he didn't influence him. Not enough for the person. We're saying the person that the fact that he's interrupted actually brings him to daven with more kavanah. Not only will he continue to daven as if the guy would not be mavavel mizu, but it's more than that. Shabilbul hanochri gufa, that interruption, the interference of the guy itself, boy, his impacts him with an additional arousal, more excitement. For the sparks of kedusha that were in exile in the speech of the goy, and you're elevating it now by not paying attention. They are from a very high place. That's where they fell very low into the speech of the goy. Through the person extracting those sparks from the clippers, which is lahoitzi yokar mizoilo, to take out the pressures from the zoilel, mizgale bohem shorsham. So their root is revealed in them, shugavoya b'yoser, which is very high. The root of this disturbances, that chayis eliki, is revealed. And from this, it extends this additional strength to the person in his avodah, that he's davening even with more depth, with more intensity, deeper, and a stronger davening. Especially according to what was explained earlier in Siv Beis, in the idea that it is a descent. Why do things go down? It's for the purpose of an elevation. The haliyah shalachar hayirida, that elevation that comes after the descent, it goes up to a higher level than the step that preceded the descent. The kemoikain who gam ba'aliyas hanitzotzes, the same thing is with this elevation of those sparks that are sorted out through not paying attention and continuing to daven with more kavona. So that's a yirida to a higher place than even these great sparks came down. They had to go down the mata. They came already from a tremendous high place, but they're going up even higher. after the descent and the sorting out, hey misalis lemaylo yoser mikemoy shahoyu b'shorsham gavoya b'yoser. They are elevated above, higher than they were in their root, which was in a very high level. The yesh loymar, so we can say shaliyosum hi lemaylo gam mi ha'inyan de gavoya b'yoser. They elevation is above even than this idea that we say that it comes from a very high place. Who? And that is through the service of sorting out the sparks in the shlemes canal sivdalit, that accomplishes as and completes, as we said, dalit hakavona b'tachtonim. That fills and completes Hashem's intention He wants to have for Him, blessed, a dwelling place b'tachtonim. So that's the highest level. That's the intention of it. Loy latzmusay, and the dwelling place is for Atzmus himself. Shabatzmusay ein shayich kol hageder de mailo mata. In talking about Atzmus, the entire definitions of Milo Mata, Gavoyo Mata don't apply. And there is a tremendous aliyah by having Atzmus, which is beyond the level of Milo Mata. So before you had a tremendous Mila, but this is higher than Milo Mata because this is an Atzmus. Ubedugmas inyan Kalia Rigla de Talmudoi, and similar to the idea in which the feet of the Talmudoi is Kalia, and we learned before in the two Perushim, not only are you destroying and you negate the rebellious Talmudoi, but you actually impact in them the idea to expire. You cause them to expire. By sorting out their sparks, and you bring them up to their root. So basically, the accomplishment that you take in the world to change things around and to make them in a level that bring down, make a diru b'tachtonim, and you don't pay attention. You don't pay attention to the interferences, or when the goy is mevalvel the davening, you are taking and you're sorting out the spark. You have to reflect that the bilbul is actually mechayez of Hashem, and then you take, by not paying attention and davening even more kavona, you're elevating the sparks, and this accomplishes the diru b'tachtonim, and this brings it up to the highest of levels.